Hello and welcome to day 3 of 31 Days of Tarot by Ethany. Today we're talking about the top 5 Oracle decks of 2018 which were purchased or released in 2018. And these here you can see a little sneak peek of my top 5 for last year, for the year of 2018, and we are starting with the two smallest decks, what card size goes, and the two cutest decks. So we're starting with the Namaste Blessing and Divination cards by Tony Carmine Salerno. Um, These are the smallest oracle cards I have currently in my collection, I think. And these cards have an image, a painting from Tony on the front, and a little blessing text on the back. So we always have blessed something and a little text to this. And the texts are all very positive, very optimistic, very calming. It's just a cute deck, but normally I like to have my decks a little bit more balanced between shadow and light, because that's how life is. And it's not always all good and positive and beautiful. But I think sometimes you really need a little hug and a little positive reminder to think more positive, to think more optimistic, to trust that you're on the right path, and to, yeah, this is a deck that gives you hope, and it doesn't shy away from shadow things actually, because the texts are written very positive and informative, and in the end everything will be well. But it also mentions in there some shadow aspects which led to a difficult time, which in the end all will be well. But um, it mentions that life doesn't exist just out of light and beautifulness. And I just love the images of Tony Carmine Salerno. These are so gorgeous color-wise. There are some sideways images in there as well, but that doesn't really bother me in this deck. And I just love the use of color and how, yeah, the art style, this one as well. There's a lot of nature-based trees and plants images in here, and I just love it. So this was this deck. Next deck is also a little sweet from the images. And it's a German deck because I live in Germany and I have a lot of English speaking and English decks, but I also am fortunate because I speak English and German. Of course, German is my mother tongue. That I can use German decks as well. And there are most decks are English speaking that I love, but some of the German ones I love too, and this is one of them. This is the Eulen Glückseeligkeiten deck by by Martina Trimpin. So Eulen Owl, as you can see in each card, there are owls, and it's a very colorful and quirky, a little bit humorous deck in art style wise. So you can see here how the owls are painted, and each card has one or two owls in there with a scene and a little phrase on the card as well. But as funny and as colorful and cute as these cards look image-wise, the messages on there are quite direct to what you need to change in your thinking or in your acting behavior. Um, so it's not as gentle and as everything will be well in the messages than you would suppose when you see those quirky, funny, colorful, cute owls. But I love this deck because the phrases are very direct to what needs to be changed. But the owls and the imagery, because they're so colorful and quirky, I always have a smile on my face when I see these cards and when I see the owls on there. But there's also some symbology in the images as well. And this just makes me smile when I work with it. So this was die Eulen Glückseeligkeiten, so the owl happiness cards, I suppose, when you translate it to English. So the next deck is this one, Lektionen deiner Seele, from James van Praag. This deck also was released in English. I have the German version, but there's also an English version, and it's called the Soul's Journey Lesson Cards, when I remember correctly. And this is from James van Praag, is also who also worked on the series of Ghost Whisperer. And these are the gorgeous bags. So this deck I worked a lot with in 2018, and I had it for a long time in 2018, as well as the Namaste deck. These I had directly at the beginning of 2018, and I worked with them through the whole year. And these are very simple cards. So we always have a mandala at the top, the title here, and then a little sentence affirmation to do with the title. And we have different colors, as you can see, which are fitting to the title and to the mandalas used. So these are gorgeous to just use as a normal oracle deck, but also to use them for meditation. So you can pull a card or choose a card which speaks to you, and then meditate on the given mandala that is there, because those mandalas really inhabit the energy of the card and of the title and what's the card supposed to mean. So they're not just random mandala images on those cards, but they really inhabit the energy of the theme of the cards, which I love. And I love all the colors, and I'm a huge fan of mandalas. Really, since I was a child, I loved to paint mandalas and color them in. And so you can really use those cards to meditate on those mandalas and on those themes that the card gives with the title and the little affirmation sentence right there. And you can really see there are different styles. So we have a very geometrical style, we have a little more fun, childlike image mandala here. And a lot of different colors are used in this deck as well. And the titles and the affirmations are really powerful and very direct. Direct, I think, is the best way to describe this deck. So you pull a card and the title says directly, this is the theme you need to work on or that will come to your way. And think about the question you have asked with this in mind. So very direct energy, very direct and clear energy to them. And there is not just light in there, there's also some shadow meanings. So difficult times or death or jealousy, release, letting go, empathy, patience, the lovely patience card, we love that meaning. So it's a very balanced deck between shadow and light meanings. So this was this deck, and the next deck is this one. Das Naturgeister-Orakel from Angela Hartfield and with artwork by Josephine Wall. And this is the German version, but there's also an English version out there, which is called Nature Whispers, I suppose. And I just loved Josephine Wall's artwork. I love that these cards are very matte and not glossy, and they're really huge, but you need those huge size of the cards to really see all the details in the images, because they're very detailed. There are very small things in there as well. There's a lot going on in those images, in every single one of them. A lot of colors, a lot of different things all mixing and blending in together. And the images are borderless as well, so you can really dive deep into those images and those symbolism. We just have the little border down here with the number and the title. And I love those images when I really want to dive deep into reading, dive deep into the cards, and let my intuition guide me on the journey that I take with these cards, and just go with the flow of the images, with the cards, with the symbology, with what comes true. Um, and you can really see all the details in here. There's so much going on in each of the cards, so much symbology and different things that all that just not just look beautiful, but they all mean. You can get from all symbology and from every piece in this image, you can get some information and the message which has to do with the title. So the images are not just beautiful and gorgeously painted, but they really inhabit the meaning of the title, and they really correspond with the title. And so this I really use when I want to dive deep into reading, when I want to let my intuition really flow freely through the meanings and of the cards and through the reading, because it is very easy with these cards for me to dive deep into them and to just really let go of your mind and what you're thinking, but just speak out what comes true without what comes through without thinking too much about it, actually, which is really nice, and they're really fitting messages as well. And I just love this art style. I also love to work with this deck for inner child work, because it really feels to me like diving into a storybook world and getting those mystical enchantment feelings. So this was the fourth deck. And the last one, I think you really can see it right there, and I think most of you will notice it, because this challenge is from Athene as well as this oracle deck is, and it's the Awakened Soul Oracle by Athene. And I really haven't had this deck for a long time. I nearly got it in November or December, I suppose, but I have used this a lot for this short time. So I think it's not cheating when I incorporate this in here. And when I say this is a top deck, oracle deck for me right now, because I hadn't it for a very long time, but I used it quite a lot. Gorgeous silver gilding here on the edges. And these are very, simple modern images. And they have very direct messages as well, and very practical everyday life messages, which you can easily, um, yeah, take action on and do and integrate them into your life. Some more easily and some a little bit more difficult to really reach the goal of the message, but you can easily start with it. And they're easy to understand. They have one keyword here. And they're really clear about what you need to do or what's supposed to come up. I love this card of change. I love the snake and how you can really see that it's shedding its skin, and there's really a transformation and change going on. So I love the symbology in this as well, because the images are quite simple. There's not a whole lot going on, but there are also one or two key symbolical things in those cards which fit perfectly with the title and which are very clear and direct as well, and allow you to understand the title and the message of the card even more. So every time I read with this deck, it is very clear. I really don't need a lot of time to understand the message. It is very fitting in the situation. And I love this card with grounding and all the crystals laying down on the grass here in crystal circles, because I'm Yeah, a crystal chunky, I suppose. And her red hair. It's gorgeous. Yeah, and you really don't need a lot of time to get the image. It is very straight up, very direct, and it's very easy to access and to read with. So even if I hadn't had it for a long time, I'm absolutely loving this deck right now. Gorgeous deck, gorgeous cards, gorgeous guidebook as well, which lists the symbolism used in the cards and why they're there, which gives a little bit of the story, what is going on in the card, some keywords and affirmation. Very perfect guidebook. I wish that all the guidebooks for Oracle decks would be like that, because there's everything you need to know or want to know of the cards, but it's not too much as well. But I think the cards themselves are very clear to understand, so it's very easy to read them even without the guidebook as well. So this was day 3 of 31 days of tarot. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, give it a thumbs up. I also would love to know what your experiences were with one of those decks, if you have one of those decks, or what your top 5 Oracle decks would be if you don't participate via YouTube, and if you don't do videos, leave a comment down below. I would really appreciate that. Also, if you don't want to miss another video, subscribe to my channel so you're always up to date. And if you want to see more cards, general readings, and crystals, you can follow me on Instagram. The link is in the video description down below. So I hope and I wish you a very beautiful, shiny day, and I hope we see us soon in another video. Bye.